Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about how to overcome the fear of being alone. So I do these YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you guys are interested, I'll be here doing the lives. And here's what I like to start out with. I always like to start out with a recap episode. My recap episode is on getting attention versus paying attention. If you guys are interested, you guys could go back to my old slides or my old videos and look at it from there. All right. So getting attention versus paying attention. And the slide is on getting attention. And I like to start out with a quote, which is, there are 6 basic human needs. There's certainty, variety, connection, growth, contribution, and significance. And that's from Tony Robbins. So if you guys are interested, feel free to go check him out. Tony Robbins talked about the 6 basic human needs that we need in order to feel fulfilled. Now it's a great feeling, and nobody's immune to it, and it's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling because it could help motivate you. It makes you feel wanted. It makes you feel important. But like anything, it comes with a price, right? Like anything, it comes with a price. One of the biggest costs or cons of this is the disturbance of your creative process. The need for self-validation, the need for approvals. And since we get just enough of it or a little bit of it, we want more of it. So how much attention is enough? And how much money is enough? How many followers do you need to feel like it's enough, right? It's like just like an addict getting attention, it's never enough. It's never enough, right? If I only had 1,000 followers, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500, 1 million, right? It's no different than saying like, oh, you know what? Once I get my dream girl, then I will be happy. Once I get the job that I ever want, then I'll be happy. Like, no, happiness comes from the process. It's the process of you doing something and enjoying every step of it, whether it's failures or successes. That's how you feel like you're enjoying the process, right? Now, the feeling of an inadequacy is what drives us to want more. So once you have your 10,000, you're like, you know, I'm gonna get some more, and I want some more and want some more. How much more is enough? That's the big question, right? All right, so let's talk about getting into a relationship. Our first slide. Talking about getting or being or getting into a relationship. So maybe you're in a relationship, or maybe you're trying to get into one. Okay. Now, people normally get into relationships with high optimism. It's just like who plans on getting married, and the last thing you ever, when you're planning to get married, having a wedding, the last thing you ever think about is getting a divorce. This is usually where most people overlook a lot of character flaws. Maybe they're just focusing on a lot of the chemistry that they have, the connection, everything feels great, but then maybe they're overlooking some of the character flaws. Maybe we don't have similar goals. Maybe we don't have similar values, but I don't know. I just really like this person. I like them a lot. And it can all stem from the fear of being alone, right? Whether you're in a relationship, long-term relationship, or you're trying to get into one, right? So, overlooking character flaws, and this may stem from the fear of being alone. An intense fear of being alone is because of all the inactions that you're not doing, all the actions that you're not doing, all your inactions, right? The action of bettering yourself. What are you currently doing to better yourself? The action of mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually bettering yourself, right? Just like a muscle, everything takes time. Everything needs a lot of effort. What's up, baby? For you to get better. Just like going to the gym, it takes time for your muscles to develop. And just like your mind, it takes time for your mind to develop this resilience the strength, so that when times gets a little bit tough, you're able to take a step back and you're able to move forward and be like, you know what, maybe this is not the best action right now, what I want to do and what I should be doing. So what you currently do and not do has its costs. Okay. And as I mentioned before, us humans, we have two primary fears: fear that we're not going to be loved, and a fear that we're not good enough to do a certain task, good enough for another person, right? And love being the oxygen to our soul, if we don't have that, and being that it is one of our basic human needs, we need this, we crave this attention, it's gonna make us feel inadequate, and it's gonna start permeating through other areas of our life, whether it's career, and then it might become your finance, right? It starts with your mental health. All that starts to decline, right? Then your physical health. So it's really your mindset. What are you currently doing and not doing to improve yourself? While some are fearful of not being in a relationship, others are in relationships where they feel like they have a strong motivation to stay in it, even if it is not healthy. All because they want to avoid being single and being alone. And this might be because of the fear of, look, I don't think I will ever find love ever again, or this is the best that it could ever be. That's it. So in other words, AKA settling, right? I've already invested so much time into this person. Maybe this person will change, or you know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You know, I dealt with this a long time ago, so it's normal. Like, and I'll tell you a little bit of a background story that I've witnessed firsthand, and it was a little disturbing. Okay, at least for me. Not disturbing, uncomfortable. All right. So just being in this long-term relationship, maybe you're in a long-term relationship and you're like, well, I already invested so much time. What's the point of leaving? I got to start all over. I don't want to do that again. Right? Because humans, we move towards comfort. We move towards pleasure, and we like to avoid pain, right? Because humans, we like to do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Now, if you already felt like you already invested a lot of time, money, energy, whatever you call it, whatever you invested, most of the time it's because of this sunk cost fallacy. So it's sunk, like, you know, sinking. Sunk cost fallacy. You guys could look it up. But the definition of a sunk cost fallacy is a person is reluctant, basically, to abandon a strategy or a course of action, or whatever your plan that you have, right? Maybe it's with that person or a certain action, because they invested so much heavily into it, even when it's clear that if you were to abandon it, it is much more beneficial to leave it. And here's an example, right? Let's just say you booked a trip to, I don't know, a ski trip. Maybe you like snowboarding or something. And it costed you, I don't know, $500, $1,000 for this trip. You already got you already booked the cabin, right? The hotel, the Airbnb, whatever. And then you booked everything. But then the week before your trip, you broke one of your legs. You broke one of your legs, and you're like, yeah, you know what? I still want to go snowboarding. I still want to go skiing. It's like, well, and the only thing that you can really do there is ski. There's not much that you can do. So the idea of you going there, what's up, Tracy? How you doing? So the sunk cost fallacy is like, well, I already financially invested so much, I should probably still go, right? It costed me $1,000, $2,000, whatever the cost may be. I should still go, right? Now, if you don't go, you're going to feel like, well, I'm losing out on $1,000. But if you were to go, can you even ski? Can you actually do anything? Or maybe you could just, you know, look, take the loss because you can't ski anyways. Or maybe you could just sit there and watch people, right? So that's basically the whole sunk cost fallacy. That's just an example, right? Most people, they have the sunk cost fallacy in a relationship, and they're like, I invested so much time, maybe this person will change. It's not that bad. An example, another one is maybe that other person was verbally abusive. And like I said, I was gonna tell you the story. I remember once we were all in a car, bunch of my friends. Thought I heard my cat. Excuse me. We were all in a car, and the person was driving, and we had a backseat. What'd you call that? It's a backseat driver, right? And the backseat driver was very aggressive with their words, basically just kind of very condescending, right? And there was a lot of people in the car. There was at least five, maybe six, five or six people in the car. And there were a couple, but they were just bashing on this person that was driving. That person in the back was bashing on the person that was driving the whole time. Like, why can't you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And just like start saying very, very condescending words. And that person that was driving is my friend. I don't really know the backseat driver, that person's partner, but I was like, hey, at the end, I was like, hey, how do you feel about what just happened? And then that person that was driving was like, oh, it happens all the time. I'm kind of used to it. It's okay. I was like, I don't think that's really okay. Like, I mean, do you enjoy feeling like that? Do you enjoy being kind of scolded for not knowing a direction? Because people make mistakes. You're at a new place. You don't know where is it at. It's okay. You can circle around. We're not in a rush. At least I'm not in a rush, right? So it was just this verbal abusive behavior that in my eyes, I didn't think, at least I couldn't connect the dots and be like, why am I with this person? Right. And now I'll explain a little bit more later on. Right. But that person, the driver, ended up staying into the relationship a little bit longer because they started using logic and reasoning to justify the actions as to be staying into this relationship rather than just being single and just work on themselves so that they could find out what were some of the flaws that person had. Okay, Evie. Okay, my cat. All right, now let's talk about common contributors of the reason why you might have fear of being alone. Number one, and if you're here, please hit the like button. Please maybe share it to some of your friends and say hi so that I know who's here, okay? 3 common contributors to your fear of being alone, okay? And I got this from Tony Robbins, so shout out Tony Robbins. Thank you for this. So number 1 is your past, okay? Your past abandonment. When the person whose love you crave most as a child, maybe as an adolescent, right? You crave most of the time is your parents. Most of the time, you feel the person that you want, you crave the love the most as a child, but they started abandoning you. Like they became a little bit uncaring, cold, distant. So you might associate being alone with being abandoned and being unloved. So like maybe it's your mom, or maybe it's your dad, or maybe it's like whoever that was taking care of you at the time. They kind of just left you to do what you wanted to do. They never really cared. They just you were there and they were there. They didn't really give you a lot of love. So then now, growing up, now that you're an adult, being alone, you're going to associate with being abandoned and unloved, because it's like, well, whenever I'm alone, I feel like I'm not being loved because I see other people in their relationships and they're, okay, this cat, get away. Get away, kitty. Sorry. She's pressing on all my buttons. Give me 1 second. Evie, get over here. Sorry guys. Thank you. Be good. Just go to sleep, okay? Like you always do. The one time that I need you to go to sleep, baby, just go to sleep. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So, past abandonment, okay? Number 2, your self-esteem, okay? Usually your self-esteem usually is related to lack of self-love. Lack of self-love. And a lot of that is limiting beliefs as a kid. A lot of things started as a kid, right? As an adolescent, right? So lack of self-love, limiting beliefs. People like that, they dislike being alone because spending time by themselves can be unbearing. It could be unbearing, right? I don't want to be alone. And when you find yourself being alone, you distract yourself with all these type of distractions. Because spending time by themselves it's unbearing. Like, this sucks. I don't want to be alone. I need to do something. I need stimulation, right? Whether it's Netflix, whether it's going out, partying and socializing. There's nothing wrong with socializing and partying, but there's a reason on why you go out, right? And I explained that a little bit later too. But a lot of it is the lack of self-love. So dislike being alone because it's unbearing. They also might not like who they are. You might not like who you are, and you need that constant stimulation. so that they could avoid their own thoughts and their own feelings. So what's a solution to that? A solution to that is, well, if you were to sit down and stare at a wall, right? Like, that's a good audit. Go home one day after work, whatever you did, stare at a blank wall. I stare at a blank wall is a great audit. Once you stare at that wall, you want to look at it and you want to make sure, and you start listening to your own thoughts, because that's your subconscious mind. And if your own thoughts are telling you all these unpleasurable things like you ain't shit, nobody will ever love you, like, find out why. Follow your trail of whys and figure out why you're constantly telling yourself that. You know, our mind is designed to protect us so that we don't want trouble, we don't want pain. We seek for pleasure and comfort. That's what we're hardwired as humans, right? Who goes out there and be like, hey, I mean, I get it, you know, unless you see a reward in it, like going to the gym, right? But more people do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And the pain is facing your fears. What's facing your fears? Well, staring at a wall. Because why would I stare at a wall? Because I don't want to stare at a wall. It's uncomfortable because my mind starts telling me all these things that I don't like to hear. And it makes me feel upset. It makes me sad. And I'm like, well, then you got to do something about it. You just got to do something about it, right? Well, if you just always constantly stimulate yourself, what do you expect will change if you're not moving towards the direction of bettering yourself? So, number 1, passive abandonment. Number 2, lack of self-love. And number 3, social conditioning, aka Hollywood love. Okay, I always talk about Hollywood love, and it's because this social conditioning that has been taught to us, where the guy chases the girl, chases, and this is the one. I mean, I love the movie The Notebook, one of my favorite movies, but I think it's completely, it doesn't work that way. All right, real life, you're gonna get a restraining order. So the one, my soulmate, they're there to complete me. Okay, that's social conditioning, right? So let me read this. So we brought what this idea of the one or the soulmate, aka Hollywood love, and that person is there to complete you or make you whole. Okay, what you really should focus on is on creating a life and lifestyle and conditions for yourself. Create it. So you have to do it yourself. Create the life and lifestyle for yourself to become whole on your own. The relationship should be a complement to your life, not to complete you. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that last line. Okay, so write this down. If you have a notebook, The Notebook. The relationship should be a complement to your life, not to complete you. So another example was, a lot of people got animals. They were like, oh, I'm lonely, I'm gonna get a dog. And then, like, when things started opening up, they gave away the cats or dogs. It's like, that's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. Don't do that. Okay, so it's always the reason why you want to do it, right? Now, let's talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. People tend to attract people who are similar to them. Negative thinking people that are believed to attract negative thinking experiences or negative experiences, while positive thinking is believed to produce more desirable experiences. And here's a firsthand experience. While I was on this journey of bettering myself, I fell into this one place where I noticed that in the beginning, before I got into self-help and just bettering myself and figuring out what were my flaws, what were my fears, it was difficult. It was difficult to let go of what I was already comfortable. Drama, just people just shit talking about another person, and it made each, like, that conversation, we felt great about that, right? Living in this anxiety type of world, right, where I listen to the news and I'm like, oh my God, like, oh shit, all these bad things happening. And I'm like, I related it to it. So then when I went out there, guess what? My mentality was negative experiences. Oh shit, like, thank God I didn't do that. Oh shit, that's risky. See, that person invested $50,000. Shit, that would have been my $50,000, right? Like, thank God I didn't do that, right? But started working towards myself, bettering myself, and I started seeing things as playing to win. So a lot of people play not to lose, and I was playing not to lose. Oh shit, $50,000, right? But I started changing my mindset, changing the way I was thinking. And when I started tweaking that a little bit, I noticed that I was way more sensitive towards the other people that were more negative about, just even in a conversation. I'm like, yeah, I think you could be able to do that. And they're like, nah, man, it won't work. Like, I tried everything. I was like, everything? Everything. Like, did you fail enough? And then, of course, they didn't like that. They were like, well, who are you to tell me that I didn't do enough? And I was like, no, that's not. It was a pleasure talking to you, man. It was great talking to you. Like, hey, I hope everything works out. Yeah, that's how you back away from that statement. Like, when people get a little confrontational, you be like, well, it was great talking to you. It was great talking to you. And just never talk to their ass ever again. Anyways, law of attraction, right? Like attracts like, and negative thinking people, negative experience. Positive thinking people, more positive experience. So think of it as playing to win versus playing not to lose. You see that? Playing to win. You have a goal. I'm planning to win. Playing not to lose is just the bare minimum, right? We call these, I don't know, I'm making this up, C-type level workers, right? Those are like, I don't know, that's my grading scale. C-type, right? Versus A players. C players? Yeah, there it goes. A and C players. So, in other words, worrying about ending up alone can actually ensure that you end up being alone, because you're like, damn, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to, like attracts like. Just because you say I don't want to, I'm telling you not to think about, I don't know, let me see. I'm thinking too much. Think of the color pink and think of a bird. A pink bird, okay? Or a pink penguin. Don't think about that, please. Let me take a sip of water while you don't think about a pink penguin, okay? You thought about that pink penguin? All right, cool. So, you may throw yourself into a relationship, even if it's unhealthy. You're also putting a lot of pressure on your partner when you do things like this, okay? So the truth is, when you overcome your fear of being alone, here's what you could do. You're able to develop who you are as a person more fully. So work on yourself, because then when you work on developing who you are as a person more fully, you will bring purpose, you will bring passion, and you will bring personality into your relationship. And this is how you go into a relationship to give. Most people go into relationships thinking that, what can I get out of this? For example, people that goes into a relationship because they're lonely. So they're like, I'm going to go into this relationship because I'm lonely and I want that person to make me feel good. You're not going into that relationship to really give. You're going in there because you're looking for the other person to make you feel a little bit better. And the moment you do that, that's called codependency. And the moment that they don't give you that attention, well, guess what? You're going to feel unwanted. You're going to feel like you're undesirable. You're going to be like, oh, this person is going to be trying to abandon me because this is what happened in the past. And this always happens, right? So let's move on to unhealthy behaviors. While being in a relationship or being single has its pros and cons, it is important to find out the reason why you're in a relationship in the first place, okay? Or why you do the things that you do. Why do you do it? And I'm not just talking about surface level why. I'm talking about underneath, behind all that garbage type of why, right? Like, find that shit out, okay? Just because you sweep shit under the rug, don't act like shit don't stink, okay? So, find out the reasons why. Why do you want to go out? I go out for reasons because I enjoy going out sometimes, not all the time. I like to be at home and I like to focus on what I can do, but I still like to socialize. I like to hang out with some of my friends, and I don't mind kicking it, but I don't use that as an escape. I'm like, damn, I need a beer. Well, sometimes I'm like, damn, today was rough. A beer would be nice. But Mitchell's has not been drinking for about 1.5 months. So Mitchell feels good. All right. So find out the reason why so many couples are together because they're avoiding longingness. Yeah. And a lot of people don't belong in the relationships, but they're like, yeah, I need it. Sorry, guys. I have to do this in case of Kitty. Okay. So she attacks my wires. All right. Both extremes are unhealthy. And here are some examples. Okay. I don't want a relationship. Everyone seems to always just hurt me. I don't want that shit. Everybody, every 8 billion people hurt you. Everybody. Okay? You start over exaggerating. Everybody, right? And then you start getting specific. All Asian people, right? All this people. No, you just been with shitty people. There are more shitty people out there in the world than there are great people. And great people are hard to find. So keep searching because, I don't know, maybe 3 out of every 100, I'm making those statistics up, right? Might be great people. But I could tell you that it's a low number. Not everybody you meet is great. All right. So I don't want a relationship. Everyone just hurt me. I don't want to leave because I don't think I can ever find someone that will be willing to love me the same way. Loneliness. Okay. I don't want to do that, right? Nothing in life will be the same because things will always change, okay? That's the fact. Fact is, everything will change. You change, I change, everybody changes. Are you going to move forward or are you going to be stuck in the past? Okay, time moves forward. It doesn't wait for nobody, all right? I don't like being alone, so I need to find someone. That's another unhealthy behavior. So, stop scrolling through your phone to see who's the right person or the right fit for you and focus on what you really can control, which is yourself. Because none of those reasons that I listed above earlier or that I just mentioned above earlier are solutions to getting better. You're just avoiding the fact that you just don't want to be alone. So most people use distractions. So remember the 3 influences that I mentioned, which is the one that keeps you in the past, right? Pulls you back. Keeps you in the past. And then the one that pulls you to the side, these are distractions. And a lot of people, they sit in the realm of being distracted or being pulled to the side, just being distracted constantly, left and right. But if you find something that moves you, you find a purpose in your life to move you forward, that's emotionally compelling. Like, damn, this is beautiful. Like, my emotionally compelling reason on why I want to be on this earth is I want to help, and I want to help serve people in whatever I can do to help them better themselves, whether it's physically, because being a personal trainer, I like to help people get stronger, mentally too, right? So when people come in, I always ask them, I always make sure that I start with the thought, hey, how's your day? Or how's your week? How are you feeling? Is everything good, right? Did you have good enough rest? Did you have a good sleep? All that matters, because as a trainer, I like to figure that out. And, more often than not, a lot of people, they come into the gym and work out. They know it's good for them, because just changing your physiology automatically makes you feel better, right? Just movement itself. Our body is meant to move. And then on top of that, I ask them questions so that they can answer for me, so I could get information on, this is where I'm going to lead our hour session today, basically. And I want to make sure that I lead you with the greatest experience that you have every single time that you come in here, right? What does that mean? I need to be on point, okay? Because I can't give what I don't have, right? So if I'm tired and I'm like agitated and I'm pissed off, it's really difficult for me to ask those type of questions, okay? So I need to protect myself first, and then I could allow myself to give to other people, so that when they come in, they're like, Mitchell, I like seeing you. You're fun to be around with, right? Now, so those are solutions that I like to focus on, which is focus on things that you could do for yourself, right? Another unhealthy behavior, since we're on this topic, is going back to unhealthy relationships, an ex of yours, okay? A lot of people like to go back to their exes because most likely it's because of the, what was that thing? I'm having this brain fart right now. So I talked about sunk cost fallacy. Fading effect bias, that's what it was, which is after a certain amount of time, the negative feelings that you have towards that person starts to decline, while the positive feelings, or the more desirable feelings that you have, starts to feel more amplified, because the negative feelings feels like it's not there, it's suppressed. Like, oh, this person didn't piss me off, but damn, all these great things that happened, right? So most likely the reason, and here's this, most likely the reason why you left the relationship in the first place is the same reason why going back is not a good choice. Nope, they go graveyard. Well, Melissa, not everyone's like you, but hey, that's great. Unless they did something that, like, it's unforgivable, then you're like, nah, I'm out. F this, done, right? But, some people, they're just like, you know what? They weren't really that bad, right? And most of the time, it's because going back to the unhealthy relationships because you didn't find a good one. Look, if you found a good person, do you think you would go back to an unhealthy relationship that you once had? You wouldn't, right? You just had, I don't know, I'm just giving food examples, right? Taco Bell, okay? Sometimes you want Taco Bell, but eating Taco Bell is not that great for you, right? But then you have like really good options where, like, I don't know, you got really nice fancy food, chef made. It's nutrient dense, right? And it's good for you, I guess. And it's like life's a lot better eating those type of food. And then you're like, nah, like, I'm just gonna go back to the bottom barrel again. Like, if you had something great, you wouldn't leave it. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I didn't mean to use Taco Bell in like high-end restaurants. That was the only thing I could think of. Facts. Toxic relationships are why I've decided to remain single. We'll talk about that later, Melissa. We'll talk about that later. But getting back into that relationship is probably not a good choice because most people don't change. Okay. I had a friend that said, like, damn, Mitchell was blah blah blah. I was like, yo, I know for a fact that we stopped talking. I was like, yo, I know for a fact that you didn't change, because I know how difficult it was for me to face all the things that I did wrong, even in this relationship that we had, that friendship that we had. And I worked on it constantly, day by day, because I was obsessed by it. I was obsessed of me becoming a better person. That's what I wanted for myself, because I wanted a better life. And for you to come back after, I don't know, a few months, maybe half a year or something like that, I was like, there's no way that you've done the amount of work that I know that I had to go through in my mind, and I'm still not there. Like, there's what? No, you didn't change that much. So, I didn't say that to that person, but I was like, hey, you know what? If I don't respond, you already know my answer. But if I do respond, you will hear from me. That's basically all I said. Okay. So, unhealthy behaviors, settling in an unhappy relationship because of time, finance, children, right? The sunk cost fallacy. If you're not happy in a relationship, here's a very, very poor reason on why you want to stay in a relationship. And it sounds like a valid reason, okay? It really does, but it's not. Staying for the kids. Staying for the kids in a very unhealthy relationship is not a good reason. Oh, we got kids, so we got to stay because kids that don't have two parents, like a mom and dad, they end up, doing bad things as they grow up. It's like, well, is being at home yelling and screaming, being verbally, maybe even physically abusive, is that going to make that relationship any bit better for the kids? Because you want to stay for the kids? No, it's not. It is not. And it's way more difficult to just break it off. Way more fucking difficult to break it off. And then finding a common ground for you and, your other partner, for your kids to grow up so that they become better human beings. Okay? That is way harder. It's much easier just, I stick through it, and another 10 years goes by and you're like, I'm never going to find any. Yeah, you just wasted 10 years because you decided to stay and you decided to settle with this person. Okay? So staying for the kids is not a good reason. It is not a good reason to stay for the kids, or finance and all this. Like, deal with it on your own. It means that you need to become better. Okay, but you could kind of delay it a little bit so that you could set up your plans, set up your strategies, right? Like, hey, look, if you and your husband or you and your wife always argue, well, guess what? Stop talking to each other as much. Set up a definite time and date. I will pick up the kids every Friday after school. I will do that. And I'll keep them for the weekend or whatever. And then if there's anything that we do ever need to talk about, it will only be spoken about the kids. But let's limit our conversations so that we could have our kids raise up to be better. And you know what's another great strategy too? Never talk bad about your other partner. Never do that. Let them do what they do, and you do what you have to do to make sure your kid grows up to be better human beings. Don't talk bad about their dad. Don't talk bad about their mom, because they don't need to hear about that. They just need to grow and have a good experience from you as a parent. Treat them the best as you could. You give them back. They do their best. Don't talk bad. Just don't talk bad. Okay? Also, remember, like attracts like. If you talk bad, right? What makes you think that they're not going to grow up to be, back talking behind people's back? People do that all the time, right? So, if you're unhappy staying for the kids, don't do that. Okay? Because kids will learn from what you do, not what you say they should do. Okay? Kids learn from actions. All right, moving. Rushing into a relationship. Rushing into one. So this is you're single and you want to rush into a relationship. More often than we like to admit, most people get into relationships too quick. This could be because you don't like being alone, social pressure, fear that you'll be alone forever. Oh, never fully processing your own feelings. Overlooking red flags, right? When you don't process your own feelings, you overlook red flags. Usually when chemistry is high, you fail to look at the person's character, the character flaws. In other words, that little halo effect. Oh my God, they're perfect. You start idolizing them, right? Thinking rushing into a relationship thinking something is wrong with you. Maybe there's something wrong with me. What's up, Charlotte? How you doing? Welcome to this to my channel. So thinking something is wrong with you, receiving external validation to help justify why you feeling worthy, that I'm worthy of love. And that's where usually a lot of people, they feel like they need to rush into a relationship. But if you really took the time, take a step back and start looking at all the mistakes that you've done before moving forward, you won't have to make those same mistakes again. And if you do, just be like, well, you just more aware the second time. And if you keep repeating that, that's just insanity. And you're just like, it's a choice. You decided to make a choice out of this, right? It's a choice. So receiving external validation to help justify why you feel like you are worthy of love. See, somebody cares about me. I found somebody. It's like that person is horrible for you. Okay, horrible for you. Now my question to you is, but what if you faced your fear and acted on the things that you know that if you continue doing today and you constantly continue to do it, that you will get better? What will happen? But let's go back to the same question that, the same fact that what we're hardwired to do. We're hardwired to go for pleasure, to seek pleasure and to avoid pain. So that's why most people do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So to avoid the pain of, damn, I have to deal with all this fear and then bettering myself. What if it don't work? What if it's the language of the poor, Jim Rohn? We do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And then, okay, yeah, nothing will get better unless you change, okay? Because you're still right now, if you haven't changed, every bit of the person you once were, you still are that person. You're still that person. Everywhere you go, there you are. Okay? So, what will change? So, what will change if you get into a relationship after just getting out of one? What's up, Daniel? Hi, how are you? Good morning, New Zealand. See you. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you, Daniel. So, unless you change, nothing else will. So, my suggestion to you is slow it down. Everybody wants to be loved and everybody wants to feel connected. It's one of our basic human needs. We crave love. We crave attention, okay? Animals too. Okay? So, slow it down. Slow it down a little bit, right? Everybody wants to feel love. Everybody wants to feel connected. Basic human need. Start working on yourself. What could you do? Start asking yourself, what could you do on your next relationship if you were to be in one? What were some steps? Figure that out. What were some of the unattractive things that you've done in your past relationships? Like, what did you do to do that is very unattractive to that person? Okay, now if you're a guy and you're playing this masculine, you are the masculine role in that relationship, and if you started doing things that's very unattractive, such as not taking the lead into the relationship, you stop dating and courting her, you stop listening to her, you stop understanding her, and you start arguing. Men who understands women don't argue with them, right? And you start doing all these unattractive behaviors. Well, it's going to happen. She's going to leave. And once you stop dating and courting her, guess what will happen? Another man will come in and take your place eventually. Okay? So, know what you want and why you want it, and then aim for it. That's your goal. Set a destination, but enjoy the process, right? You can't change what you want in 10 years tomorrow, but what you can do is you could change the direction of where you want to be and start going towards that direction. So focus on a connection rather than jumping into a relationship immediately. And that's what I will always suggest. Even when I wanted a cat, okay? Like I'm just talking about cats now, all right? So been focusing on wanting a cat. I was looking at cats for a long time. Didn't know. I was like, yeah, no, it's not a good time. No. But I took my time. I took my time with the things that I wanted. And eventually everything worked out. My Good question. You should probably go seek professional help. So, no matter where you're at, never stop bettering yourself, okay? No matter where you're at, never stop bettering yourself. That's my next one. So, the definition of courage is the ability to do something even if it frightens you. Okay? So, number one, focus on yourself. That's the only thing that you really can control. If you try to control other people, just know that there's no such thing as controlling other people. It's an illusion. Control is an illusion. So that won't work. Maybe it might you might get some attainable success by controlling people, yelling at them, screaming at them, letting them know, hey, you need to listen to me, or else blank insert threat, right? Unless threat, right? That's what people that has zero control, that's what they feel like they need to do. Okay? Being alone is better than being surrounded by negativity. It is. But like I said in the beginning, I'm not sure if you were there for it, but both extremes are unhealthy, right? I want to be in a relationship because I'm lonely and I'm single. I want to be in one, so you start rushing into one. But then also the flip side of the coin is I don't want to be in a relationship. Being single is a lot better, right? Being alone. So just is it FOD? I'm gonna call you FOD. FAD. Right? Being alone. Just look at that statement, right? Being alone is better than being surrounded by negativity. That statement alone is playing not to lose. And that's a true statement. That is a true statement. A better question is, what if you started bettering yourself and you started surrounding yourself? Well, that's not even a question. But what if you started bettering yourself and you started working on things that you knew you if you did it, you would get better. Maybe you have, I don't know. I'm making things up now, right? Maybe you have an anger issue. Maybe you have an anger problem, and everybody gets angry, but it's how you react to it, how you respond to that type of anger. That's who you are, right? And if you learn how to control that and then not be as you're angry, but then you don't let that overrule who you are and have it control you, don't let it run you. Start working on that, right? And then maybe after that you can start working on things of, maybe I could start using this and start working on myself and start understanding what is a relationship. And a great way to start is, look, you're going into that relationship to give what you could give to that relationship and to that person, right? It's not just buying gifts, okay? So if you go into the relationship to give, it means that you're not going in there because of, I'm lonely and I need somebody. That's not going there to give, okay? Going there to give is, look, I'm feeling good about myself. I would like somebody, but I don't need somebody. But I would like someone that has the same goals, and similar values as me. Because I would like someone, and state it out in the beginning, right? For yourself, write it down, right? If you want a car, if you want to buy a car, are you going to be like, I'm just going to buy any car, the first car that comes to that I see, like that has a for sale sign? No, you won't, right? You wouldn't. You would be like, I probably need a bigger car, or I probably, you know what? I want a sports car, right? So sports cars are a little bit smaller, right? Okay. And then you'd be like, well, do you want it fast? Do you care how fast it is? Do you care about the budget? How much you're going to spend? You most likely will, right? You're going to have a budget for yourself. What's up, Adriana? How come we don't do the same when it comes to relationships? Or how come we don't do the same when it comes to people that we're going to spend most of our time with? Because those are the people that's going to have one of the biggest impact into our lives. What's up, kitty? What's up, baby? Right? Why? Why not? Why not? It's just like getting married. They don't give you anything. There's no pamphlet. You just like, oh, sign this. Well, you're signing a whole bunch of things away if you were to ever get a divorce, and the divorce rates are pretty high, right? So, where was I? Focus on yourself, because that's the only thing that you can focus on. Number 2, beware of your fears. So be aware of it, right? What are your limiting beliefs? What are those limiting beliefs that you have that is holding you back? And follow your trail of whys and ask yourself why. Why do I have these limiting beliefs? So whatever limiting beliefs you have, question it. Question what those limiting beliefs are. Why do I feel like I am unworthy of love? Big fear for a lot of people. Very common. So if you feel like this, you're not alone, okay? It's okay. Stare in my eyes, okay? All right. So an example is here's just an example, okay? Why do I fear I'm not worthy of love? Well, an example could be because my parents, as I was growing up, I always felt neglected. I felt like they always neglected me. They kind of just left me to do what I wanted to do, and I never really got the attention that I wanted, what I craved, right? And that's why I crave it now. So then the next question you can ask would be, so how does it come off when I'm seeking it from someone else? This love, how does it feel? How does it feel? Well, it may come across as a little bit forceful, a little bit like I'm pushing it a little bit too much, or I feel like I might be trapping that person. Like, oh, I need this love, so I know it's only our second date, but I love you, right? Love takes time, right? Everything great takes time, so be patient. Well, if these are some of the questions that you're asking yourself, right? Like, yeah, if you're forcing it, feel like you're forcing it, or you love too quickly, that could be a reason why. Well, then you can start asking yourself, like, well, what are some of the things that I can do to be better? Well, slow it down. Slowing it down, but that's just don't slow down and sit down and do nothing. Okay, you have to take action. So take action, all right? Slow it down. Take action, but slow it down. Don't love too fast. Don't love bomb people, right? Like, love takes time. And here's the fact: woman takes longer to fall in love, and woman takes time to fall out of love. So if you're in a relationship right now, and your significant other, your lady, is not loving you as much as she once did, well, it took time for her to fall in love, and it takes time for her to fall out of love. So it's going to take more time, because now she knows who you are. It's going to take more time to get the love back. It's going to take a lot of time. And what's the quickest way to get someone else to change their feelings about you? The one thing you can do is to change yourself. Okay? Change your behaviors. Start working on yourself. Look, I noticed that I always yell and scream whenever she tells me something that I don't like. So what do? You just take a step back. You be like, start asking questions. Because if you start yelling and screaming, behind anger is always fear. So you're fearful of something, right? Maybe you're fearful of being proved wrong. So you always feel like you have to yell and scream to prove a point, to try to overpower them. Like, just because you're yelling and screaming doesn't mean you make more sense. You can't make sense out of nonsense. I just had this disagreement with somebody over a fucking parking spot. I was like, look, it's not worth it. You take it, dog. Like, people die over dumb shit. You know what I mean? I was like, look, it's not worth it. Go do your thing, right? Some fights are not worth it. Hold on, let me get my kitty. She's where are you? No, stop. I know, but you all over the place, and you know, I'm almost done. All right, I'm almost done. Okay, all right. So, number 4, letting go of the past. Living in the past will prevent you from being able to move forward. A lot of people live in the past. Remember those 3 influences, right? Stuck in the past, being distracted. Last one is emotionally compelling, pulls you forward, right? An emotionally compelling reason for me to live is to help serve other people, which is I love relationships. I love understanding it, and I love being able to kind of dissect it and be like, okay, this is what kind of went wrong in this relationship. It's because you started acting more feminine. You started acting more like a bitch in a relationship. Man, stop acting feminine. She needs a masculine man, and you're not. You were once a masculine man, and a lot of people come across as very masculine up front. They're like, yeah, confident, Riz. Let me get your number, and then later on, be like, oh, what do you want to eat? What you want to do? Why do you always get mad? It's like, look, it just tells me you don't understand her already. You don't understand women, and men who understands women are loved by women. Loved. Right? Oh, and then they're like, oh, Mitchell, Mitchell, what can I do to get her back? Well, that's the wrong mindset. Wrong mindset. The better way of thinking is, look, what can you do right now to start becoming more attractive so that you start becoming a more attractive person? And that way, okay, I get it. The love of your life don't love you no more, don't want you as much. But then when you start becoming more attractive, start being like work on your body, right? Work on your mindset, becoming a better person, right? Work on your finances and all that, right? And once all that happens, well, guess what? More people will start coming to you. You're not going to even worry about that one person that didn't like you, because then you will have more abundance, okay? Right now, you're at the scarcity mindset. I don't have enough. How can I get her back? Poor mindset, okay? What can I do to be more attractive so that other people will view you as more attractive? Now, humans are hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And if you're not properly vetting your dating prospects, you might end up settling for less. So you have to be able to raise your standards. So let me kind of just run down the list one more time. Number 1, focus on yourself, right? Number 2, beware of your fears. Number 3, what limiting beliefs do you have? What are your limiting beliefs? Okay. And then question it. Number 4, letting go of the past. Look, it has happened. Staying in there, crying about it, talking about it is not going to change it. What can you do to move forward? Number 5, raise your standards. And I would like to tell you a story about what happened last week and what happened yesterday. Okay, last week, I was talking to this one guy, very successful, a VC, a venture capitalist, I might be saying it wrong, VC. Okay, last week I asked him, what type of advice would you give to someone in their 30s, mid 30s or whatever, or even later? He was like, fail, keep failing, like, but learn from it, but keep failing, like, be better. Like, look at why you failed and then don't do that again and then fail some more. But you're going to fail. And I was like, okay. And he mentioned that, 80-90% of my failures, it was very disheartening. It's kind of unmotivating. But then the 10% that I did, whatever that I invested in, pay back 10 times more than all the failures that I've ever had. But it took a lot of failures, like 89. And he was like, most people don't fail enough anymore. Like, they fail a few times and like, I forget it won't work. He was like, and that's them. That's not me. I look forward for failure. And I was like, God damn, that's a quote right there. Look forward for failure. I was like, yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. He was like, well, you better start doing it now before time's ticking. He's like, I'm 83, right? You could double your age and I could still be your dad. I was like, God damn. Don't say it like that. I was like, that you be a very young dad. Like, it's funny. We have fun conversations. So that was the question that he asked me, right? And then yesterday, I was like, let me ask you, do you have any more words of wisdom for me? And he was like, he's 83 turning 84. He was born in 1939, I think, if I did the math correctly. 1939. He's old, okay? He's old. So, like, I would say some stuff like, damn, I'm like, you're very educated. You're very educated. I was like, I'm learning a lot from you. Well, so yesterday I asked him, I was like, so what words of wisdom do you have for me today? And he was like, okay, what did you fail on today, Mitchell? And I was like, I don't think I failed any. He was like, you got your answer. You didn't fail enough. So start doing things that's a little uncomfortable. And then he dropped the word courage. Courage is the definition of courage is doing something even if it scares you to death. You have to do it. Okay. And those were the two things. He's like, courage, have courage. I'm not gonna lie. I was not ready to have a kitty. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. I know for a lot of people, maybe if you have cats, it would be easy. But then I was thinking of what if I'm not there enough? Or what if I'm not able to love it enough, right? This is before I got her, right? So I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. You got to do the things that scares you, and then like just keep trying and start like finding out, because a lot of the times that I was fearful of doing something, but when I actually did, it wasn't as bad as my own thoughts. My thoughts was making it way worse. So what it tells me is that my mind is always there, and it's designed to protect me and hold back. He's 84. 1933. What's up? Is it Paisley? My mom was 1933. So your mom's a little bit older then, right? Like 90 something? 83, 90? I think it's like 90. But, like, I don't even know 39. Is it 1939? How old was your mom? But yeah, so that's the thing. All right. So that was a really good question that he asked, or that he asked me, because I was like, oh wow, Paisley. All right, Paisley. So I hope you guys learned a lot in this. Do you guys want to recap? I didn't recap today, but I could recap. I could do a recap. Would you guys like a recap? Would you guys like a recap? Say something. Say something so I know. I'm going to take a sip. Ooh. And if you guys do like it, I'll start incorporating a little bit more. You know what? I'm not going to wait for y'all to answer. I'm just going to do a recap. All right. So, summary, recap, cat daddy. All right. How to overcome the fear of being alone. Start paying more attention and stop getting more attention. Okay? Start creating, doing more things, and stop consuming as much. I get it. Consuming things is great. Consuming content, watching content, that's great. But that should be used as a tool, just like a phone, right? It's a tool, right? It depends on how you use it, right? Are you going to use it for good things, or are you going to use it for things that distract you, right? Are you going to use it for moving forward or being distracted? So getting attention versus paying attention, that's a very good one, right? Start paying attention to yourself. Start paying attention to your own fears. Keep doing that, okay? Being or getting into a relationship. Most people get into relationships thinking that, hey, you know what? Optimism. Chemistry is high. I love this person. This is the best person that ever was. Blah, blah, blah. Halo effect. Still, don't overlook character flaws. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. Neither are you. Okay? We all have character flaws. What we can do is we can start aligning ourselves to the person that we want to become. Right? Like for me personally, I know I need someone, or I would like to only be with someone that is healthy. Like, because I like taking care of myself, and I want my person to be able to take care of herself too. So it's going, that's what I like. And I wouldn't want to settle what now if they completely stop going to the gym and taking care of themselves. I'll be like, okay, let's help you get back to the, let's get the ball rolling again, right? Like, maybe you can't go to the gym, but you still eat healthier. That's fine, right? So health is important to me. Someone that's loyal, right? That has integrity, says what they means what they say, right? That's important to me, right? So those are characters. So those are core values, okay? So before getting into a relationship or being in one or getting into one, right? And if you're not in a happy relationship, ask why you're still in it. Why? And then if the why is, well, I'm afraid, then follow that fear, follow the trails of whys of those fears, and then start attacking one at a time. Look, it took time for you to become the person that you are. You can't just gain 50 pounds overnight, okay? That 50 pound, it just comes out of nowhere. Same thing with love and attraction, right? It takes time to fall in love, fall out of love, and then fall back into love. It all takes time, okay? Common contributors, 3 things. Past abandonment, right? Love that you crave most. Not once you were a child, you didn't get it enough, so then you associate being abandoned with being unloved. Number 2, lack of self-love, right? Limiting beliefs. I don't have enough, right? I'm not enough. Like, that's a fear, right? Fear of being inadequate. So then that starts to permeate into your feelings of love. So then you have less confidence. You're not going for the things that you want, right? And you're like, or you try, you do this mediocre job. It's still better than doing nothing. But, this channel, this place over here is designed for you to have the best, for you to have the best life, not to have to have the most mediocre life, okay? This is not the channel for that. So I want you guys to have the best life, to live happily, effortlessly, right? It's bad things will happen, right? You're going to have obstacles, but it's overcoming those type of challenges. That's what's going to help push you to move forward, to be more consistent and what's that other word? Not content, but being brain fart. Anyways, lack of self-love, okay? Post-abandonment, lack of self-love, and social conditioning. That's Hollywood love. We're conditioned by that. What you really could focus on is really focus on yourself so that you can start creating life and lifestyle that complements you, because a relationship is there to complement you, not to complete you, okay? Because you're going there to give. And unhealthy behaviors such as, the extremist, I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to do this. Everyone has always hurt me. That's one extreme. That's unhealthy. That's unhealthy behaviors, right? And another unhealthy behavior is I need to be with somebody. So those are both unhealthy behaviors. A great place to be is somewhere in the middle. Well, if I don't want to be in a relationship, why? Well, I've always been hurt. Why? Well, I've always been hurt because all these people that I've been with, well, how many people have you been with? Well, I've been with 8, 10, 20, right? And let's look at some common traits that they all have. Were they all assholes? Did they all have anger problems? Or were you the problem? Because if 20 of them said the same thing about you and you decided not to change, nothing else will. Okay, so getting into the next relationship, you're gonna run through the same thing again, and you can't blame it on the other person. Okay, so what can you do to improve yourself? Okay, rushing into one. Okay, chemistry high, overlooking character flaws, halo effect, facing your fears. So that's a sum up. No matter where you're at, never stop bettering yourself. So that's a great place. So focus on yourself. Beware your fears. What are your limiting beliefs? Tackle those. Let go of the past. Let it go. It happened. Things suck. You're still here. Let it go. And then start raising your standards. Humans are hardwired to avoid pain and to gain pleasure. So you got to properly vet. So a great place to start is, you know what? I don't want a relationship because everybody always hurts me. Well, maybe you weren't properly vetting your dating prospects. Maybe the guys or the girls that you've been dating, they all have been assholes, or they've all been people that have poor judgment, or maybe you have poor judgment on people, right? Or maybe you just going into relationships too quick, not thinking about what this person is. It's like, I've seen, like, just go to any Target, okay, or any, and you see the couple with the kids. They might be screaming, and like the lady is walking in front, and the girl or the woman is walking in front of the husband, and he's like on his phone, and whatever. It's like, no, he's no longer leading the relationship. It's like, be present with the person that you're with, or don't be with them, right? If you have things that you got to do it on the side. Do what you did in the beginning of the relationship, do what being in. Okay. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll catch you all on the next one. I'll catch you all on the next video. So today's episode, how to overcome the fear of being alone. Thank you all for staying. Face your own problems, fix your own problems. Exactly. That's the only thing that you can do. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in and learning. It's great to see everybody again, and I'm really liking this a lot. So I have you guys to thank. So thank you for coming in and spending the time that you have with me and watching Evie destroy a lot of my stuff. So I catch you on the next live. See you. Oh, but also I won't be here for the next 2 weeks because I'm going on vacation. So 2 weeks, I would try to do something on the third week. So I think when I come back November 4th on my lives, then I'll do another episode, hopefully on the 4th. But if not, I would kind of just randomly go on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok live. So I'll be on vacation. So you won't be seeing me. I won't be seeing her. Okay, that hurts a little bit. So I'm gonna spend all the time with her now. So I catch you all on the next one. Peace. Thank you.